pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk will call the roll, please. Here.
Here.
Coleman.
Here.
Johnson. Bateman. Here. Peterson.
Here.
Yoder.
Here.
You have the agenda in your board packet. Are there any additional corrections or deletions to the agenda?
I'd like to add the downtown tree.
Okay. We'll add that under new business as an item number 1. Any other additions, corrections, or deletions to the agenda? Hearing none, we have a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Supported.
Moved and supported to approve the agenda as amended. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Any public comments this evening? Yes.
Ray Holloway, 312th Street.
Thank you.
City of Scranton, Michigan. I just wanted to mention that I'm excited that the city's thinking about trying to promote some building projects in the city. I was really excited about the SHIP program when I heard it, but I'm sorry that I have since changed my mind about the SHIP program. I think that after a long thought, it seems that we're putting money at risk, even though it's a guaranteed payback that Jake was talking about. There's a lot of things that can happen. Being in the construction trades for years and years, there's not only is there liabilities that if someone got hurt or if someone tied up something in court for a decade and there'd be a lot of expenses. I'm just worried about the liability and the risk involved in a project like that. I would like to think that it would be a good idea to promote outsiders come in and develop properties within the city, whatever that may look like. But I just wanted to voice my opinion. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other public comments?
Jake, can I do my account?
You're talking about
About the rec center?
Yeah.
With the arcade?
Yeah.
Okay. Susie Bogason, I've got 117, okay.
Thank you.
We had something come up on Friday, and Jake found it for me on the amendments or whatever, and it was quite a scare to me, because I'm trying to put in a free rec center for the whole area, for every age right now. And the gentleman that's working with me to bring in like a pool table and a foosball, etc. He said, well, how about, is there license fees through the city, blah, blah, blah. I said, I've never heard of anything. And then Jake found them. And if that's what it is, my doors are locked before I even get started. And I was wondering what could be done to change it. It's $100 license fee every single year. And then $100 for each item every single year that you have for an arcade. An arcade doesn't make any kind of money like that. And so I was wondering if something could be done to change these laws and delete them so that I can actually put the recreation center in. I've got tables and chairs donated to me sitting in there. I just spent $500 on simple munchies for everyone to be able to come in and purchase while they're playing cards. I got free bingo. I'm going to offer on Tuesdays to adults. The Six Lakes VFW donated 200 bingo cards. And so people over 18 can come in, sit down for free, and have fun for 4 hours playing bingo. But for me, if I've got to turn around and give you all my money that I'm going to make for the year, just to have some arcade for the children to come in, and I will have set rules, 12 and under, they have to be with an adult. 13 to 16, they can be there till 10 o'clock because of curfews. And then anyone else can be there till midnight. And I've got someone, one of my extra kids, he set up a brand new, really nice computer repair business in there, fully certified and about a quarter the price of anyone else. And he is good. But we're trying to get something going that's good for the city. But I can't afford, whatever your laws pertain to for bringing in any kind of video games or anything. And I was wondering if you all could, figure out a way to expunge those, since I'm gonna have a free recreation center for everybody.
We do have an ordinance on file from, I think it's the 80s, late 80s, that when video arcades were really popular, like, that kind of assesses licensing fees and stuff like that. It's one of those ordinances that is a bit archaic, not really relevant at this point, just because that arcade fad has kind of gone by the wayside with home video game consoles, things like that. So I think, I asked Ms. Wilkerson to come in and give a public comment, and I'll put it for your consideration for maybe a repeal at the next meeting. Just to,
Well, I'm opening tomorrow, either way, but it would really be nice to be able to have them bring in stuff so people can see what's going this weekend even.
there's a process we have to follow.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Is that something that we would need to talk with our attorneys about, or do you feel comfortable that it's archaic
It's a
and?
local ordinance, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just, back in the day when you had these video arcades
Right.
that had, 15, 20, Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, all that kind of stuff. There's a $100 a year license fee, and then there's actually another $100 for each, what's called automated entertainment system, or whatever they call it in the ordinance. That really pertains to like anything that takes money in exchange for like entertainment, whether it's Pac-Man, pool tables, things like that. So, it is quite outdated. They were really, really common, because video arcades in some cases were considered like public nuisances because people didn't like all the noise and kids hanging out in one spot and everything. So cities would implement these licensing fees in order to make sure that like it was companies with a lot of resources that had them, so they could afford to do close up security, things like that. So it is an archaic ordinance. So we'll start that process for consideration, and I'll email you all a copy of it so you can look it over. But it's like I said, it's quite archaic.
Are you gonna email or Dropbox?
Dropbox would probably be easier.
Yeah, I think so.
Dropbox is good.
Thank you. Any other public comments? We'll move along to the minutes of the July 26, 2016 meeting in your board packet. Any additions, corrections, or deletions?
Mayor, I believe when the minutes were approved, they were approved 6-0, it's not recorded. The vote is not recorded. The minutes are displaced because I confused two words last time, and there was confusion, so the minutes were approved later than usual.
I guess I'm not, oh, here we go. Oh, that's approved the bills right there. So you're saying, the vote,
Yes.
to add that? Does that look like what you have, Hannah, for the vote? Okay. So we can add that 6 yes, 0 no. Any other additions, corrections, or deletions? Do we have a motion to approve? Moved and supported to approve the minutes as amended to the regular meeting July 26, 2016. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. DPW report. Jamie's not here. Any?
James not here because they're going to be flushing hydrants tonight. So he did want me to add that tree trimming and certain trees for removal in residential areas is going to start September 5th. They have a contract in place with All American Tree.
Are they marking those with an X?
I believe.
Those are the ones that property owners have.
You stop.
I'm
losing you.
I believe they're on mark,
Be living in a desert wasteland before long.
I had a question about the umbrellas, that were replaced. Were they like left up during a storm or something?
I think, like, not necessarily a storm, but we had some really windy days, and I think just over the last few years, they deteriorated, and they ended up breaking. But I don't think it was one particular event, there was a few that kind of needed it, and then one did end up breaking, and Jamie was like, well, 3 or 4 need to be replaced. So, and I think we got from the exact same place we got last time.
Yeah, I see them out there. There's nobody under them, obviously.
Right.
Well, and that's another thing I wondered too, is like, can we just kind of rely on local businesses to go out and
I think
roll them
that's the
down?
arrangement is
That's kind of
business to
been
shop owners.
Understanding.
Yeah, we're supposed to put them on the big account. I don't know exactly how effective that is.
Yeah, I don't think it's a perfect
Perfect
system, but
But our guys go home at 3:30, which is literally the hottest, sunniest part of the day. So if
Right.
we put them down, someone else is just, that they want to use, bring them up.
well, we thank Jamie for his report. Your report, Jamie.
So as you can see, a couple things we're going to cover on the agenda tonight. You will see that we have lots of photos for the webpage. And is that on the agenda? It's supposed to be on the agenda. You guys are supposed to make selections.
No.
Well, does everybody look through all those photos and pick their favorites? For the most part, okay. Well, we don't need to add it to the agenda, but if you can email me or let me know the numbers that are your favorites, I can give those back to the, and then we've got a few more submissions that just came in too. I can get those back to the web designers and we can get that taken care of because I'd like to move that project forward with the website. There's quite a few submissions as you saw. There's a lot of nice pictures. We also had it brought up that it'd be nice to find some historical photos to put up there too, like photos of the old schoolhouse and things like that. So I'm going to work on reaching out to some people in town and see if people have some photos, and that'd be nice. So,
Can we utilize any of these?
yeah, I think so. Yeah, we can carefully scan those and have them in there.
The library has,
Quite a few.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what my understanding was. Good. As you guys know, Stanton Fashion Days kicks off this week. Looking forward to that. I'll be a judge in the Stanton Fashion Days Miss Stanton pageant. That's where I was right before here. Doing preliminary interviews for that. Definitely come down and show your support. Planning Commission, they just received new hard copies today of the draft of the 20-year master plan with all the revisions made. I'll keep you guys appraised of that progress once we get into the public feedback period for that document. And let's see here, number 5, I think we're going to go back to the drawing board on that regarding the tree replacement. We had something worked out there, but I think they want to come back to the table regarding like the trees on Camber right there. So, and then as I just said, tree trimming starts September 5th. Hydrant flushing takes place tonight. As you guys remember, we moved to flushing 3 times a year as opposed to 2. Let's see here, we're working with the school right now to supplement our MDNR Natural Resource Trust Fund grant application. Where the goal will be to have a permanent easement set in place in addition to our lease, and that will be considered sound site control by DNR. We have until the end of October to get that done, and the school has told us to go ahead and move forward with the legal, and they're confident that the school will support that. So that's good, and that was really the only issue that they found in the review period for our grant. They said it was a good, solid grant application. That's just the one thing we have to be taken care of. So that's really good. We're hoping it will be pretty short. And let's see here, Jamie Blum and actually also Elizabeth Piner will both be taking place in Leadership Mount Calm for this coming year. So that's exciting. I'm happy for them. That's, as you guys may remember, I just got through it. It's a really good program. It's a 9-month program, and you learn a ton about the county. There are people, myself being a transplant, I learned a ton, but there were people that have lived in the county their whole life that learned all kinds of things. And then just as one more little thing, we do have positions open on both the DEA and the Planning Commission. If you can think of anybody who may be interested in getting involved and serving, let me know, shoot me an email or stop in, because I'd like to fill those slots. So we have full boards all the way across. And I think that's all.
Any questions on Jake's report?
Yeah, I have a couple. One is on the water problem. How are we coming with that? At Warren's building and also Diane's down here.
Oh, sure. Yeah, so yeah, I should reference that with number 5 as well. We had some contractors come into town and take a look at Mr. Wells' building as well as Diane's for waterproofing. We think we're going to have to make some curb cuts and do a kind of a rebuild system on that corner of Camber with regards to the sidewalk. I should have bids, I'd say. I don't know, the contractors are really busy right now, but I did get 2 to come out and look. I've got an appointment late this week with another one, so we should get some bids to you pretty soon on that. So that's in progress.
Now, are they qualified to, like, not get an engineer to look at this?
Yeah, they're general.
This has been a problem and a pain in the neck for 22 years.
Yeah, these are,
Something has to be done to keep that water out of these two facilities.
yep, they're general construction contractors. I asked them basically to give us what they thought would be the best course of action to help keep the water. We clearly explained the problem to them, that there's water getting in under the wall there on Main Street as well as in the doors of both of the two of those rental units that are in that building. And then we showed them the Lowell's building as well, where that water is still getting in under the floor a little bit. And basically said, you know, we'd like to see your proposals as to what would be best for this so that we can kind of weigh different options. And it may work out that, you know, they all three give us different proposals as to what course of action to take, and we can decide the course of action that we think is best and then ask them to rebid for that particular solution. So it may be that we get the best idea from that first round of bidding as to how to fix it, and then rebid again, ask all the contractors to submit bids for that process. But yeah, that's in the works. Thanks for reminding.
Any other questions on Jake's report? We have the police report also, and I see that Jake stepped out, but any particular pressing questions on the police report? Well, we thank him for his report. We'll move along to the appointment of a planning commission member.
So according to the planning commission ordinance, the city commission should have one ex officio member represented on the planning commission. As you may recall, Commissioner Yoder resigned his seat, and Commissioner Burris was appointed to fill the rest of that term. That term has since expired, so we need to have the mayor nominate, and then by resolution, the commissioners adopt Commissioner Burris for a full term. So that's essentially what the recommendation is, and there's a resolution in your packet.
Resolution 16-3, City of Stanton Commission, ex officio appointment to Planning Commission. The Commission of the City of Stanton hereby resolves, whereas in accordance with Section 2, subsection A of the City of Stanton Planning Commission ordinance, one member of the City Commission shall hold an ex officio posted term on the City Planning Commission, and whereas the ex officio member is to be appointed by the resolution of the City Commission of the City of Stanton, and therefore Ken Burris shall fill the position of the ex officio member of the City of Stanton Planning Commission for the term length prescribed by ordinance, and shall immediately assume the duties and responsibilities of said office. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Resolution's passed. We also have the second item under existing business, the SHIP feedback, public feedback.
Yep, so
Just
far,
before you go into that, Ron Blum has to be, if he wants it, reappointed by the mayor. His expired at the same time mine did.
oh, the term expired as well? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think we can do it if it's not on the agenda, but I'll make sure that gets on the next
On the
agenda.
next
I
agenda,
I missed that in the
I
term.
don't see why we can't vote it.
Well, technically, according to Robert's rules, if it's not on the agenda as approved at the meeting.
I missed it on that.
We'll catch it next time.
Yeah, that was my mistake, so I'll make sure to make it.
It's only been a year.
Well, then, it hasn't held up progress too much then, I suppose.
Mayor, I move that we suspend the rules to allow for a vote this time around.
That's
To support, moved and supported to suspend the Robert's Rules of Orders to allow for the appointment of an expired term to the Planning Commission.
And just a point of order, we're voting just to suspend
Correct.
the rules
Yes.
this time.
Any further
It takes
discussion?
2/3.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Ron,
Now do we have a motion to
and just so you guys are aware,
reappoint?
no resolution necessary for Ron's appointment, it's just a simple motion, so assuming that he wants to hang out.
Do we have a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Did I hear support?
Support.
Moved and supported to reappoint Ron Blum to the Planning Commission. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries, and thank you once again to my parliamentarian. Keep things moving along. Okay, back to the SHIP public feedback.
Sure, so, I'm through about 20 households at this point, and then I've left my card and just a short, explanation on a few more. I've gone around town and talked to lots of other stakeholders as well. So far, mostly positive feedback, some negative, especially as of today, I've gotten some feedback that, was against, in addition to Mr. Holloway. So what I'd like to do, what I'm finding is it's really difficult for me to get around, not only with my schedule, but catching people at home, door to door, to get enough substantive feedback to, give us some informed decision-making ability. So what I'd like to do is, just kind of let you guys know that so far, it's been mostly positive feedback, but enough to the point where I think it's probably reasonable to promote and hold a public forum. So a public forum is different than a public hearing in the sense that it's not a regular meeting. You guys aren't required to be here, so we'll have a representative delegate from the city commission. Typically, it's the mayor or village president in the village, and then department heads as well as the administrator. And essentially, we give a presentation regarding the proposal from the city, and then allow people to ask questions or give public feedback in that way. And I think if we were to send out a mailer as well as promote it electronically, that we could probably get a good amount of people there. We had one in Lakeview recently that was close to 100 people, and it was a pretty good response. And it was a big issue there too, the same way this is a big consideration that we have to take very seriously here. So basically what I'm asking is to, and I'd like to amend my agenda item, because I think I'd like to push it back a little bit as to what I've got it on here, and push it to September. So it would be, let me see here, the third Thursday in September, so September 15th. And I'd like to hold that.
And you're saying public forum, not hearing,
Yeah.
as you've indicated in your.
Yeah, because as I was going through and when I made this, I was still going around to these households, and trying to catch people during business hours is difficult, and I realized, this is a fairly serious consideration. I'd like to give people the opportunity to come to an event in the evening and hear a full presentation on it, as opposed to just the kind of at your front door walkthrough that I was giving. So I'd like to take a little bit more time to get some more data pulled together and give a substantive presentation, and I propose that for September 15th at 6 p.m. 6 to 8.
Are you wanting me to sit here for 2 hours? Nobody's here.
Yes.
I wish you would have told me.
To do that thing, can't commissioners be here? It's not a formal meeting.
If a majority of the commissioners show up, you have to call a special meeting. So what we'll likely do is post with 18 hours notice, to cover bases. Well, what I'm going to make sure I do is find out if you're coming or not, so that way we can post as necessary for a special
We
meeting.
could definitely have three, which wouldn't be a quorum.
Right, as long as you have a quorum, but if there's gonna be a quorum here, it has to technically be a special meeting. We can still, basically what you have to do is convene the meeting, and then we can have a public forum in the exact same format as we would, but we just have to make sure you guys adjourn at the end to stay compliant with the charter. Yep, and if you guys decide, if everybody decides they want to come, I just need to know that in advance, so make sure that it gets posted.
Let's find out right now. I plan on being there.
September 15th at 6 to 8. It's probably, the format will be probably a 20 to 30 minute presentation by the city, and then opportunity just for open forum, public feedback. People can say if they're opposed or in favor, or they can ask follow-up questions. There will be a structure in that way. If people need to check their schedules and get back to me, that's fine.
Yeah, I have no idea if I'm available that day or not.
It's a Thursday evening.
Okay.
Monday of the week.
I believe that's, Thursday. And if there's a date that would work better that's in that, week of September, that would be fine too, or even the following week. I mean, that was just a date that I was open on, and that gives us plenty of time to pull the data together, so. May 1st. And the whole thing will be video recorded, same as our commission meeting, so you'll have an opportunity to watch it. And
So do you want a motion to that effect?
Yeah, I think that would be most appropriate motion that hold a public forum at that date and time.
I move that we do this.
Moved and supported to have a Stanton Housing Investment Program public forum regarding the SHIP program on September 15th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
All right.
Opposed, nay.
Nay.
Motion carries. Under new business, the downtown trees. Did you have something in particular you wanted to bring up kind of about that?
Now, on the trees, we've had nothing but a problem with them since day one. I, for one, am getting tired of it with the fruit falling on the ground on the trees. And the city took out and paid and took out the trees on Main Street. They were a hazard when they were dead. Limbs could break off and stuff. As far as I'm concerned, the berries falling off of these on the sidewalk and these tall trees are also a hazard to the business people in this town. And we need to do something about them. And so far, nobody in downtown has paid one dime to get trees out. And I don't want to see the people that own the buildings charged for the trees coming out.
Bartlett, you're talking about the Bartlett bears on camera.
I'm talking about the berries and the tall trees. There's a tree, my understanding, we're gonna, this fall, we're gonna take the trees out on Main Street that are in the flower beds because the roots are taking up too much of the space. Well, there's a tall tree down in front of, where the old Ford garage used to be. That guy can't even put up a sign. That tree is so huge.
I'm happy to, just so you guys are aware, we have a tree trimming removal part of the budget that's used for that Jamie's already basically used up for residential, but if that's the direction you guys want to go, because when I first got here, the attitude was those are healthy trees, like people, I understand they make a mess, but, so if the attitude has changed, I'm more than happy to work with Jamie to remove them and put new ones in, but again, maybe we can put fewer new ones in, because I've heard on the side streets, some people feel there's too many trees. But then again, I've also heard feedback that, those trees are fine, you leave those trees alone. So it's just, you gotta take into account that people do feel differently about that issue.
Well, some of them people wouldn't like it so well if they had to clean the buildings where the trees are, because it messes their floors up drastically. And we've had an issue with this off and on forever. And what happened, we can't go back on it, but the contractor cheated the city because none of them are miniature and there wasn't supposed to be any berry trees, period. And in some years when they really produce, somebody could fall on the sidewalk for one thing. I call that a hazard, and the city should take it out.
I'll defer to you guys.
Well, there's another point that brought up that some people think that flower pots are more attractive to the downtown than the trees. So if we want to replace trees, the flower pots up.
And I'm totally amenable to that. On the side streets, I do think having a fair balance, when you're just talking about a complete streetscape, it's good to have trees as well as streetscape amenities like flower boxes or benches or tables or what have you. But if you want to go in the direction of all flower boxes, that's up to you guys. We'll have to do some research as to costs and things like that. In the short term, if you want those trees out of there, you just got to motion as much, and we'll have to get bids to get it done and all that good stuff.
I move that we take them out.
Well, do you want to move that we get bids to take them out? 'Cause I have no idea what it will
Yeah,
cost.
take them out.
Which ones? All of the trees
The
or?
trees that like the one in front of Havel's, and the ones, the berry trees are on both sides of Main Street on Cameron. And I've seen where they tracked them horribly into Ralston's Hardware, and then their Warren's building is getting it.
So the berry trees, and you mentioned something about the Bartlett pear too?
That's what they are, the Bartlett pears.
I thought they were
Those
red.
ones that give off those little tiny berries, I think those are Bartlett pears. The ones that give off those little red.
Red berries
I
are
think
Bartlett
that's what-
pear.
Because Bradford pears are different.
That
The ones that give
doesn't
away.
sound right, but
I think that's what they are, but I
all
know
the
which
berries,
trees-
fruit bearing trees.
I know which trees you're talking about, but one or the other.
Okay, so we have a motion to get bids to remove the fruit bearing trees downtown. Am I
Yes,
understanding your motion correctly?
And also the trees on Main Street out of the flowers.
Okay.
Right, which that's already planned.
Okay.
Yeah, but we don't wanna do that right now and mess up the flowers, so that's why we're waiting until we take.
So we don't need bids for that, is what you're
No,
saying,
we
okay?
can-
So just the fruit bearing trees?
Somebody, you should go talk to Ralston, because I imagine they're tired of cleaning their floor.
I've spoken to them before, yeah.
Okay.
Is there support?
I support that.
Been moved and supported to obtain bids to remove the fruit bearing trees from the downtown. Is there any further discussion?
Do you wanna specify that to, like, the side, like Cameron, where the problem area is, just Cameron Street?
That's the only berry trees I know of
Me
in
too,
town.
but I don't wanna, get bids and then have some guy come back and be like, I found 15 more that nobody's complained about. So, I
Well,
think
if
maybe.
you talk to Ralston's and also Warren,
Yeah,
they'll show
Cameron,
you every tree that,
Cameron Street.
yeah, can.
On Cameron Street?
Yeah.
And you accept that as your second as
Yes,
well?
ma'am.
Everyone understands the motion?
And that was my concern, was that how many trees is it actually?
Another fair warning is I think you should have a follow-up strategy for, you start thinking about what you're gonna wanna do after they're gone. Because I don't think we wanna just leave it bare down there, so.
Concrete seems popular these days.
Yeah, well,
You're talking about bids. There's none of those trees are big enough for a contractor.
well, if you want the stumps ground out and stuff, I mean,
Well, I don't know.
well, and on top of that, we run a 3-man crew and they're pretty busy, so I think.
Well, that was my question, is this taking the trees down, is that something that the DPW can do?
Can they? Probably. Do I think Jamie would like the idea of throwing off his schedule when we're a month and a half from leaf packing and that kind of stuff? I mean, the chipper can handle some of those, like some of the stuff from there. That being said, I think if we're gonna grind the stumps out and actually take care of them, that's something that, well, for Main Street, we had to get a guy at Greenville who had an angled stump grinder because they're in those tree cisterns and there's there's a metal cage in there. And so in order to really effectively grind those out, you have to be able to work those angles. So we don't have that equipment, no. We can cut them down and remove them, yeah, but there's
Has Bush Hardware got it?
not to my knowledge. Jamie and Jeff last year, or when we first did the Main Street trees, they had to find that. He was the only guy they could find that could actually get down there and effectively get the roots without A, jeopardizing the irrigation lines, and B, hitting the metal tree cistern.
Well, there'll be a period of time between the snow or the leaves are taken care of and the snow, it starts to snow. That those trees wouldn't take that long to get out.
Well, I think we can get them out fairly quickly. Like I said, do I think they can cut them down and get rid of them? Yeah.